I just wrapped up my open house here in Milpitas, and I had a lot of buyers walk through today, and they had the same questions over and over. So I'm going to walk you through the 5 biggest myths I hear about buying a home in this market. If you believe any of these, you're going to wait too long, lose money, or end up with the wrong person in your corner. I'm Michael Rulfs, a realtor with Coldwell Banker here in Santa Clara County, more specifically South San Jose. I help buyers and sellers and people relocating to the South Bay every single day. So here's myth number 1. You need 20% down to buy a home. This is the biggest single reason people put off buying. They think they need to save $200,000 before they can even start looking. That is not true. In Silicon Valley, the average down payment for a first-time buyer is closer to 10%. Some buyers even put 5% down, and some 3%. If you're a veteran, you can even get loans with 0% down. FHA loans let you put down 3.5%. Conventional loans can go as low as 3% for qualified buyers. And like I said, VA loans, if you've served, they allow 0% down. The 20% number comes from one specific thing. It's the threshold where you avoid private mortgage insurance, PMI. PMI typically runs between 0.5% to 1.5% of your loan per year. On a $1 million home with 10% down, that might be $300 to $500 more per month. But here's what people miss. If you wait 3 more years to save that 20%, you might be buying the same house for $200,000 more. Now you're trying to put 20% down on a much higher purchase price. The math usually works in favor of buying sooner with less down and paying PMI for a few years and then dropping the PMI once you have enough equity. Talk to a lender first, get pre-approved, find out what you actually qualify for. You would probably be surprised. Myth number 2, it's easier to just use the listing agent who's representing the seller. I hear this all the time, especially at open houses. People walk in, they like the house, and they think going through the listing agent will get them a better deal or speed things up. It does the opposite. The listing agent has a signed contract with the seller. Their job is to get the seller the highest price and the best terms. They are legally and ethically obligated to act in the seller's best interest, not yours. When you go to the listing agent as a buyer, you end up in a dual agency or a designated agency. Either way, the agent cannot fully advocate for you. They cannot tell you the seller would actually accept $50,000 less. They cannot strategize with you the way a dedicated buyer's agent would. Here's the other thing. In most California transactions today, the seller still offers to cover some or all of the buyer's agent's commission. Anything not covered, we can negotiate into the offer. So you're not saving money by going through the listing agent. You're just removing your own representation from one of the largest financial decisions you'll ever make. Get your own agent, even if you're just starting to look. Okay, myth number 3, you should find your home you want first, then contact a realtor. This is backwards. By the time you find the home you want, the seller already has an agent, a marketing strategy, a pricing strategy, and an offer either coming in or already on the table. If you start looking for a buyer's agent at that point, you're scrambling. You don't have your pre-approval letter ready. You don't have someone who's run comps with you. You don't have anyone who knows your priorities, your timeline, your max number. I see buyers lose homes because of this every single month. They fall in love with a property on Zillow. They reach out to a random agent to go through the listing with. And by the time everything is in place, the home is already in contract. Find an agent first, have a 30-minute buyer consultation, and walk through your goals, your timeline, your finances. Get connected with a lender. Get pre-approved. Build a target list of neighborhoods. Then, when the right home hits the market, you can move in 24 hours instead of 15 days. That one decision is the difference between getting the home and losing it to someone who is better prepared. So this brings me to myth number 4. Price is the only thing you can negotiate. That's definitely not true. The price is definitely not the only thing you can negotiate. This is the one that costs buyers the most money without them realizing it. In a real estate transaction, there are usually 8 or 10 things on the table at any given time. Price is just one of them. Here are some of the others. Closing costs. The seller can credit you a percentage of the purchase price towards your closing costs. On $1.5 million, that can be $15,000 or $20,000 back in your pocket. Inspection period. A longer inspection period means more time to investigate the home. Shorter means a more attractive offer to the seller. Repairs. If your inspector finds issues, you can ask the seller to fix them, credit them, give you cash, or adjust the price. Appraisal contingency. Waiving it makes your offer stronger. Keeping it protects you if the home appraises low. Close of escrow timeline. Some sellers want a fast close. Some sellers want a slow one. Matching their timeline can be worth more than offering more money. And rent backs. The seller may want to stay in the home for 30 or 60 days after closing. Offering that for free can help win the deal. What stays with the home? The refrigerator, washer, dryer, hot tub, patio furniture, all of it can be written into a contract as well. A good buyer's agent looks at the full picture and figures out where the seller is flexible. Sometimes the right offer is not the highest one. It's the cleanest one with the right terms. Okay, so this brings me to myth number 5. You should wait for interest rates to drop before you buy. This is the one I'm hearing the most often right now. The thinking goes like this: rates are higher than I'd like. If I wait until they come down, my monthly payment will be lower and I'll save money. It sounds logical. It usually isn't. Here's what actually happens when rates drop. More buyers can suddenly afford to enter the market. Demand spikes. Prices go up. The buyer who waited for lower rates ends up competing with 5 other offers for the same home, paying $100,000 more for that privilege. There is a saying in real estate: date the rate, marry the house. You can refinance an interest rate. You cannot renegotiate the purchase price of a home after you've bought it. If you find the right home today at a price that works for your budget, the rate is a number that can change later when rates do come down. You call your lender, you refinance, and your monthly payment drops. Same house, lower payment. Meanwhile, every month you've been waiting, you've been building zero equity. You've been paying the rent that goes into someone else's mortgage. You've been watching prices in Silicon Valley do what they do: go up. I'm not telling you to buy if you're not ready, if you don't have your down payment, if your job situation is unstable, if you don't have a strong reason to own. Wait. But if you're waiting purely on rates, you may be costing yourself more money than you think. So these are the biggest 5 myths I keep hearing about buying a home in Silicon Valley. If you're thinking about buying in the next 6 to 12 months, the best thing you can do today is start the conversation. Find an agent you trust. Get pre-approved. Build your strategy before you fall in love with a house. If you're looking anywhere in Santa Clara County, Willow Glen, Almaden, Cambrian, Los Gatos, Saratoga, in the South County like Morgan Hill or Gilroy, I'd love to help you out. My contact information is in the description. See you guys in the next video.